Okay, so this beautiful wreath kit is the Silver Tidings wreath kit. This kit is a regular price of $227, on sale right now for $193. This kit is built on the 24-inch Snowy Sitka spruce wreath. This is a base pine wreath that is outdoor safe on a double wire base. Also included, you have the metallic plush bow. This is a really fun silver tinsel looking bow with wires already on the back for easy attaching. You're gonna get 3 of the opal glitter long needle sprays. These are a beautiful opal white stem that you can trim or bend to shape. Then you're gonna get the Crystal River garland, a silver wrapped bead garland. It's gonna add a really delicate touch to our wreath. Has silver and clear little dots on there. And then of course the Snowy Magnolia leaf garland. This is a large, icy magnolia leaf garland with some snow, glitter, and ice on it. A little bit of fallout on that. And a beautiful piece. Optional add-on is floral wire if you need it. Is linked in the product description. And this kit again was the Silver Tidings wreath kit, available at magnoliasne.com.
A beautiful, beautiful piece. This is going to be a nice, large, outdoor safe option if you are looking for a front door wreath. This bow is an outdoor safe item, so it's especially wonderful to have an easy bow that you don't have to design. This wreath is an easy shaper. What we need to do here is lift up our pine pieces. It's going to come to you quite flat. So let's go ahead and pull up the pine. Now the reason we want to do this is for the best result in blending our magnolia leaf in, we want to nestle the base wire of the magnolia leaf right next to the structural wire of this Sitka spruce wreath. So we want to find access to the main wire in the center of this wreath. Now our magnolia garland is the next step. It goes perfectly, the length of it, around this wreath, but you have to get it down in there. So it's easy to bend. The structural wire flexes, and what we'll do is just find any old starting point here. And we're gonna pair that wire next to the structural wire of the wreath, meaning you really just need to get it tucked down in there. And that's why we opened up the pine to get that placement next to our base wire. So I'm wiggling it down in there. And of course, you're gonna be working your pine and pulling it up through as you do this. So you lay your magnolia leaf in, then pull some of your pine sprays back up to cover the top of the magnolia leaf wire. It's working it in there and blending it in. So I'm going to sort of decide those 2 pine pieces need to spread apart. The magnolia leaf lays between them, then I can pull the pine pieces back up over the top, and so on. So work it in there. Just get those wires one on top of the other for your best result. And then the leaves literally come out perfect. The 2 ends are gonna meet up. And one thing you can do is take the loop of the magnolia leaf and slip it, like if it's easier for you, slip it over one of these pine sprays, just push it through there and bring your loop all the way down to your wire, which will help it lock in, of course, because you can then twist that pine spray so that the little loop stays put. My other one's right back here where they crossed over. Why don't we just go ahead and put that one through here. So it makes an easy wire-free way to secure both ends of your magnolia garland. Just happens to work out with those nice little loops. Our structure of Sitka pine is very sturdy and wired, so everything can also act kind of like a twist tie. When you twist pieces together, you are using the own internal wire of the spruce, and that is what is so easy about this. So as we're going through, we will be twisting the pine, but before we do that, we're going to want to lay these beautiful stems in here so that we can weave them in as we go. Now this is something you could leave the length, but I'm going to shorten them all up and take off about half of their length so that I don't have to fight so hard to hide those stems. And as you know, when they're paper wrapped, you just want to get them into a little bit of glue on the tip. I mean a tiny touch, just so the paper doesn't begin unwrapping. That can even be Elmer's glue if you do not have pan glue going, because this project does not require glue. So let's place them in 3 areas. At this point, we have not picked the top where the bow wants to go. I will save that for last when I decide how these are going to come out and where my gap might be. So we're going to wiggle our stems back down next to our other 2 wired frame pieces. And you can see that my pine needs to spiral. I mean, this is obvious, but I'm pointing it out that these long needles should spiral the same direction as your wreath and your leaves. So we're all moving in the same direction here. Now here we have a nice example of 3 separated bases. Here's my wire of the wreath structure. Here's my magnolia wire, and here's my white stem of my pine spray. I'm stacking them all together, pressing them together. I'm going to pull up 2 pieces of the Sitka, one on each side of my magnolia, and it's also covering the white stem of this opalescent spray, and I'm twisting the 2 pine pieces together to lock it in. There we go, and we're going to go back here down the length of this stem and also do the same thing in another spot. You're just going to have to pull your pine around until you figure out which ones are the best candidates for twisting, and then twist those 2 together. So it's just now a matter of locking in and shaping. You can use wire to secure this if you'd rather, and you could probably use some glue, but I would not rely on the glue alone. Stems like these tend to wiggle out of only glue. Don't be afraid to wrestle with it. It just takes a little bit of time, but everything you need is really built into the wreath itself. Okay, one more lock over here. Taking our pine and pulling it up around our double stems to secure it into place. And in doing so, you're really getting a nice blend because you're bringing that pine back up into the magnolia leaves, and it's integrating nicely, blending nicely. Finishing touch
in there just a bit too.
The finishing touch is going to be adding our bead garland. Now this one, I didn't want it buried, so it's the final placement, and it's going to go this far around. You see how we're going to now create a natural gap because this garland is going to come up slightly short and your bow is going to fill the gap. So I can see that if I hold my wreath like this, I have a left, a right, and a bottom of my glitzy pine. So my bow is going to end up here. Let's wrap this wire piece in lightly. It doesn't take much to lock it in there. You can just take a little pine spray, and these pieces have little center segments that separate off of the main wire. You can just loop that around one of the Sitka pieces and drop the main wire down in there and do the same thing a few inches down the way. So here we have another opportunity to grab this little wire and just flip it around one of the Sitka pieces, and so on. You just want it floating, don't want to bury it. It's a delicate final touch, so you want it at the surface, nice and visible. This is such an elegant piece, and the frosty factor, I believe, is just something you would leave out after the new year. In our wintry climate, at least, it's definitely appropriate to use this fresh frost wintry look well past the holiday season. You could probably even change out the bow to a Valentine's theme bow and extend the life of it a little bit further.
That'd be fun, yeah.
Okay, the last flip. Taking a little tendril of the bead wire and flipping it around another Sitka piece, retaining our gap up here for our bow. So remember, that bow comes with its own wire. This has been the super easiest combination without having to use extra wire or our glue gun.
And it makes a big statement.
It sure does.
So you could put the bow at the top of your wreath. You could put it at the bottom with the tails hanging down. Or you could even put it off kilter, off to the side if
That's
you'd
true.
like. So you can change your bow position.
That is absolutely true. There, we've got it. The wire itself is a kind of a coated plastic wire, so it's very easy. I wouldn't cut it off. I'd probably just leave it in the event you want to pull that
So you can make it
bow off
into your hanger.
and do something else. But yes, you can twist it into a little hanger also and create something that's going to go around your over-the-door wreath holder or a nail by making a nice little loop in the back with your bow. That's a great plan. So it's all there for you. It doesn't take much to lock this into your wreath, and then you've got an elegant design that will weather the seasons here. You're going to come through a couple seasons with this look if you want to use it into the winter months. Beautiful.
Cute.